In this clip, I'm going to show you how to generate quadratic sequences. A quadratic sequence is based on the n squared sequence. This is the sequence of square numbers. So the first 5 terms in the n squared sequence are 1 squared, which is 1, 2 squared, which is 4, 3 squared, which is 9, 4 squared, which is 16, and 5 squared, which is 25. So the first 5 terms in the n squared sequence are 1, 4, 9, 16 and 25. Now remember, any nth term, n, represents the position of the term in the sequence. So for the first term, n is 1, so n squared is 1 squared. For the second term, n is 2, so n squared is 2 squared, or 4, and so on. So if I wanted to work out the 10th term, it would be 10 squared, which is 100. Okay. Generating quadratic sequences is then basically built from the n squared sequence. So if I want to do n squared plus 7, I'd look at each term in the n squared sequence, and the first 5 terms in this one, all I would do 1 plus 7, which is 8, 4 plus 7, which is 11, 9 plus 7, which is 16, 16 plus 7, which is 23, and 25 plus 7, which is 32. So to work out the first 5 terms in the n squared plus 7 sequence, I just added 7 onto the n squared sequence. Take it a step further. If I want to work out the first 5 terms in the 2 n squared sequence, well, I would take n squared and times it by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8, 9 times 2 is 18, 16 times 2 is 32, and 25 times 2 is 50. So the first 5 terms in the 2n squared sequence is 2, 8, 18, 32 and 50. And I could combine these. So what happens if I did 2n squared plus 3? Well, what I would do, I'd work out the 2n squared sequence first by doubling n squared, and then I would add 3 to each term. So 2 plus 3 is 5, 8 plus 3 is 11, 18 plus 3 is 21, 32 plus 3 is 35, and 50 plus 3 is 53. So the first 5 terms in the 2n squared plus 3 sequence are 5, 11, 21, 35, 53. And I built that up in 2 parts. I worked out 2n squared by doubling the n squared sequence, and then I added on 3 to that sequence. That will work for any quadratic sequence.